today. When I first met Carol, she told me that she was sure that's true in this room right now. And, it's been interesting over the last 10 years or so. We've moved away as hard as today is, and I know that it's a heartbreaking situation. After being able to hear Vail's story and Vail and Carol's story, there is a lot to celebrate in this man's life, and I know that it means so much. Carol had told me over a dozen times how much it is, all the cards, and phone calls, and people making sure that everything is okay. In hindsight, I'm thankful that there's been a little time. There's been a few weeks, and to be able to come together today is hugely important. So thank you for making the effort to be here. I am what they call a funeral celebrant. I have a normal day job like most of you. I'm a leadership consultant by day. But I do this for a couple of reasons. I work exclusively with TR, the Route Song team, and if you're from the Dayton area, I can promise you, no one cares for taking care of families as much as the Route Song team. So if you have a need or a question, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. On a personal level, I do this because several years ago I lost my mom to cancer. Story, because I'm a firm believer that every life is a story that deserves to be told. My privilege in getting to meet Dave through story is I got to hear from somebody that I had never had the privilege to meet, and just what an incredible impact his story had. And I'll tell you that over the 30 plus years I've been doing this, the hardest kind of loss is a sudden loss. Because there's no way to put it. And I mention that today because in the grieving process, you can take whatever that normal process is and multiply it by 100. And I tell you that because it's going to be important that you continue to give each other grace, not only for today, but in the weeks and months and even years to come. I'm a big reader, and one of my favorite authors is a guy named Frederick Bachman. And I was reading one of his books the other night, and this paragraph popped off the page, so I got up and wrote it down and said, over time I realized that deep down almost everyone asks themselves the same sort of questions about life, especially as we get older. We ask ourselves, am I good? Do I make anyone proud? Have I been useful to society? Am I good at my job? Am I life even matter? Yes, to every one of those questions, the bigger questions of life and our actions. And what I mean by that is, if you think back to our lives, there are certain times that we are lucky enough to run into the exact right person at the exact right time of our lives for the exact right reason that we were supposed to run into that person. You might be sitting next to one of your early connections right now. And you think back to that first moment you met, who talked to who first, and what was it you saw in each other that has pushed through all the layers of relationship and become the significant relationship that it is today. And if you think about it, we can take away all of our accomplishments, all of our possessions, all the stuff that we did. What life really boils down to are those holy connections, significant relationships. And there's no doubt you're here today. You made the effort to get here today because somewhere along the line, your life path and Vail and Carol's life path crossed. But let's be honest. When we all press our hearts here a few minutes ago, we all have things that we're worried about. We have decisions we're trying to make on our own life. There's something going on in your life that nobody else in this chapel is even aware of. And those things are going to be waiting for us when we get back in our cars here in a few minutes. Whenever I have the privilege of doing a service like this, I consider this group in this beautiful chapel on this Saturday morning, we're our own version of Holy Connection. You cannot explain why this group of human beings would ever be at the same place at the same time. If we tried to plan today, we couldn't have made it happen. But here we are. So my hope and my prayer is that by the time we get back in our cars, by the time we rejoin our own busy lives, we're going to have a better perspective, a deeper appreciation, simply because we took a few moments out to listen to this great man's story. And I think that's entirely possible. So before I go any further, if you're comfortable joining me, I'd like to ask you if you would join me in word of prayer, okay? God, I thank you so much for this collection of holy connections. I can't imagine the different relationships, friendships, stories, moments, events that have been shared just by this group sitting in this room. So many pages and chapters of Vail's life are represented by people in this room. And God, I don't know how you do it, but I fully believe that somehow you can look back at a group like this and completely know what each one of us has going on in our own lives. So God, I thank you for Vail's story. I thank you for the impact he's had, for the difference he's made. And I have a feeling his legacy is yet to be done, because I believe the story today can make an impact on those of us sitting in this room. So that's my prayer, God, that you would continue to comfort Carol and family, everybody that's involved in the days and weeks to come. But most of all, I pray that you would be in this room on this day, this moment, so we can celebrate the life of a man who did it very, very, very well. In your name I pray these things. Amen. Vail's life started 77 years ago, and I already know that one of his main holy connections is this beautiful lady sitting right down here. And I had the privilege of asking, I was love hearing, how'd you meet? And I know that they first met when they were in high school at Oakwood, and as the story goes, Vail was dating one of her girlfriends. And then that came to an end. And Carol had a date for New Year's Eve that fell through. And I don't know who made the move, but somebody did the right thing. And they met there together. They went on to different colleges after that, but stayed connected. And somehow that connection stayed strong enough to end up celebrating 55 years of marriage together. And that's my model. And here's the thing, if they hadn't met in high school, if they hadn't stayed together through all the college years, this beautiful family wouldn't even exist. That's the power. It changed history for, I understand, those friendships run deep and loyal, and the connections that exist in this room are incredible. For the next few minutes, we're going to hear from a couple people that knew him best. Vail is going to come up. Look forward to hearing.
Hold on, I'm going to give a look at the audience here. Bear with me. How he became senior when he was the original. He grew embracing our entire family, actually, everybody we know loved him. We've all been showered with these incredible gifts of love, memories and stories, how Dad impacted each of us, and so many. You come forward, all the Millers and Ices are so grateful to be surrounded by family and dear friends. Thank you all for being here to celebrate Dad's life and my dad's life together. Carol Vail, as Brian just said, love story began at high school over 60 years ago. And this love story would include the sheer love of your own business. Three incredible children, I do agree with that. We would share their passions, find loving spouses, and add 6 grandchildren to the family. It would grow to include family farm. It would grow to include a close group of friends that felt like extended family. It would grow to include 1,800 associates in the family business. It would grow to include the West Coast office out of St. Nina, where Carol would deep their friendships across the winding street, where the family would gather. I, for one, am so grateful family, and how we come together to support mom in recovery and to support each other. She's awesome. She perfectly captured that in the obituary. His humor, his steadfast loyalty, his stalwart spirit, they're simply irreplaceable. This is a powerful one. He made you believe you could do anything. He was able to express pride in a gratitude in a way that inspired others to always want to do more. He showered his love tirelessly and completely, and would often like to remind you, doesn't matter what's going on, just to keep smiling. He had passion. He was spiritually noble. He was a dedicated, competitive, honest, my word is my bond kind of guy. And I always admired him. He took every phone call, especially if it was from mom or his family or his friends. Didn't matter who he was with, what he was doing. But he was just going to answer. He was going to be there for you. Can't see through all these tears. He was at for service. He truly loved his wife. Striving was a big word. Successful. He truly loved watching his children and son-in-law embrace the business, love the business, impact the business. He truly loved Ohio and fought hard to help be a great state to live, play, and work. He truly loved his moments of great golf shots and truly loved the moments of poor golf shots. He truly loved his friends and never let the idea of being in the bush. He truly loved the music of Motown in the 70s. He truly loved cheeseburgers. He truly loved the breakfast. He truly loved customers and certain suppliers. And even with pride, he said, "Where's the butter?" He truly loved the Chardonnay, the Napa Reserve, and the occasional blood. He loved and loved the bang of smiles and seeing and talking to his grandchildren. And we all loved it when he would smile, he would laugh. He was my best man, my best friend, my mentor, my guide. I have so many awesome memories, incredible memories. The next sons don't get to witness their dad, and frankly, each and every one of you, Brian captured that well not long ago. How is it that we're all connected? This past summer, he had invited me to some nice to you. You mean a lot to me. You helped me tremendously. Can I get you a new suit or a coat or something? And I said, well, I don't wear suits very often, but I could use a new sport coat. So we went that afternoon to Whip Taylor's and he picked out this jacket. It was a cool memory. And I just got to pick it up this week and got to wear it today. So, thanks, Dad. And that's all I got. Thanks, Dad. Michael.
My turn now?
Your turn.
Brock, hey, yeah.
Sorry.
We're looking for a moment. Hi, kids. Hiya. That was my father's way of greeting us whenever he came home from work, golf, or other obligations. He would follow a quick shake of his hand. That always made me chuckle just a little bit. I didn't really know what he was doing. Only recently I realized he was pulling that from old How Many shows. And I thought it was just his weird way of saying hello. But that hand wave has crept into my life over the years. I occasionally mimic that gesture when I acknowledge a friend. And today, I give that wave to all of you. Thank you all for being here today to celebrate the incredible life of my father. He was a truly awesome man. Years revolved around family and friends, and a visionary quest to make out of the company that is today. He was a force in the beverage industry, where many saw him as a dedicated leader, striving at these points to achieve results with a passionate approach. Throughout my career, especially recently, I'm reminded of many accolades from former suppliers expressing their admiration for his work. Here are just a few that I'd like to share. He was an icon in the industry, so well respected as a true gentleman in a business where that is not often seen, wrote one supplier to her family. Another supplier may have been more difficult to describe my father as a positive, fun guy. A term my father hated profusely, not because he didn't like that guy so much. But that note is indefinitely in my head, because it proves he could win over the opinion of people, the humor and love that lives on even today. Written our supplier friend. One colleague touched on his humility and sound advice as guiding factors in his mentorship. And my favorite is one other colleague that spoke of his quick and ready smile, a trait that put everyone at ease, as if they were part of the good guy. But work was just a small part of what made him such an amazing man, an irreplaceable mentor to men, and a loyal friend to countless individuals. He did not show anger often, even though his temper was somewhat notorious, but in a funny way. From turning V-neck sweaters into cardigans during a round of golf, clubs from like boomerangs into the canopy of trees, like gifts to off guys for better shots. The trembling wakes thrown around sand traps that quivered from their potential demise as a result of sand shots. In the way those outbursts, they were a relief valve for holding his life outside. He would occasionally share that temporary delay in many hockey games, which would result in his removal from the stands due to his smack talk to refs. And he loathed refs for some reason. And in a weird way, that was one of his many examples of dedication to my success and a token of support. I spent a lot of window time with my father as he drove me to hockey practice or games across the Midwest. Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, the occasional tournament in Canada gave us a lot of time in. And so many memories, too many that I could share. I know how to sacrifice his time and support my interests. I always cherish that post-game grab around and the enthusiastic, great game. I was soon follow. Later, we would have constantly searching for his approval. I only look back on those early hockey games and realize I never had it. Those great game Michael moments of better come to me through my marriage to Larissa, the birth of my two sons. And the occasional workplace things where I made it seem like I had it all together. Those moments of encouragement and love he gave me will be something I will always use. That I want to tell you that his instantaneous smiles and guiding light and encouragement to keep on trying. Until we're reunited again and hear those words, hiya, please. Hiya, hiya. Know that I will always be dead. Or you will ever know. May you rest in peace. weeks now. I know that we all
You know, one of the hard parts of loving someone deeply is when you lose them, it just hurts that much more. And I can't imagine how proud he would be to know that his kids, his wife, his friends are here today. You know, as we bring our time to a close, we've had a lot of time to talk about life and what's important. And, you know, over a year ago, on January 2nd, 2023, I was with my middle son. I have 3 sons. I was with my middle son. It was a Monday night. And as soon as I said what Monday was, many of you know exactly what I'm talking about, because that was a big Monday night in this part of the country, because that night the Bengals didn't actually play the Bills. They defeated. You know, other than 9/11, I don't think I ever watched anything more surreal than what happened on television. It would almost literally made its way around the globe. 60,000 fans were silent. Professional broadcasters didn't know what to say. The young athletes at the time of their life were facing them, crying, scared, because when sudden trauma happens, like what's happened to you guys, you're just kind of left, what do I do? And in the next couple of days, I don't think I ever heard more open talk about miracles and prayers. And apparently it worked, because if you know the story of Wednesday, Damar Hamlin woke up in the hospital. And he couldn't talk because he still had tubes in his throat, but he could write. And reportedly, they gave him a whiteboard and a marker. And the first thing that he wrote on the whiteboard was, "Did we win the game?" And in a moment of profound wisdom, the doctor dealing with Damar Hamlin said, "You did. Damar, you win. We didn't finish the other game. But in every way that we measure everything that's important on this side of heaven, Vail Miller won." Look at this. He wins. His impact, his family, everything that was important. As I got to hear his story, the word that kept coming back to me is the true meaning of the word gentle. In every aspect of the word. And I know that he believed that this life is only chapter 1. That's a belief that they share. That we don't know what the other side looks like, but there is a collective belief that there is a second chapter. And in my belief, he's getting to live that second chapter right now. One of the scriptures that we picked out was from John 14. And one day Jesus was talking to a group of people who had just gone through a loss, and he said these words. He said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I told you that I am going to prepare a place for you? And if I go prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am." This a lot. And this sweet lady has found her way to my heart. You know, over the last month, I get to see the strength, the humility, the courage, because of the circumstances, and talking about what now. You know, I used to think that when we got to heaven, whatever that is, there would be this long line. And in that line, the one thing that we would hear over and over again is the question, why? Why? I don't get it. I've thought that. Why? Why didn't we get our miracle? Why? But after a lot of time, we thought, I don't think that's the main thing we're going to hear when we get there. I don't think we're going to see a line of people asking why. I think we're going to see everybody going, oh, wow. Yeah. You know, Carol confided in me that over the last little while, Vail has been struggling with some memory issues. you've been in a family that's had a loved one fight, Alzheimer's, dementia, that's rough. And it's above my pay grade to know how all this works, because I promise you, there are times in my adult life, God has asked me one question over and over, and that question is, do you trust? Do you trust? And I'll be really honest, I believe that we don't know what the next 10. And so we're asking ourselves, what about now? And the most powerful thing that I've heard Carol say over and over and over is the conclusion she's come to, I guess I'm not. And I can say with a resounding yes, that is the truth. Because here's the deal. Every one of us, we have people that watch how we live. Someday somebody's going to sit with somebody we love and ask, tell me, how did they face good times, hard times? How did they make it through? And Carol's being that example right now. Under some of the hardest circumstances. It's been an inspiration to me. And I'm helping you look out, but I'm not, she's been an inspiration. And so is the whole thing. Just hearing you guys talk. Because Vail Senior's legacy is not done. It's still alive and well. I saw these beautiful grandkids come up here a little earlier. There's generations that come that will be able to share the impact that has already been put in place in the DNA in this family. You know, because of what I do, I hear a lot of people not really know what to say to each other during a time like this. And one of the things that I hear more common than anything is people will come up to the family and say, you know, God wouldn't let me have anything to me. You know what that is nowhere in the Bible? I read it 100 times. It's not in there. This is pretty much one of those times where we're not made to handle life. And that's the beauty of this community. This family, stay together in the weeks, months, and even years to come. You know, I would like to close with a reading that I hope brings honor to Vail, Carol, the way they've lived their lives. But it's going to ask every one of those questions, because in a few minutes, we're going to go back and get in our house. And so let me read this. If I died today, would I be proud of the life that I lived? If I died tomorrow, was I happy? Would I be proud of the person that I've become? Was there love in my life? Did I give enough love? Did I show that I love the real me? Have I lived the life that I wanted to live? Could I have done things better or different? Will anyone miss me? Will I leave anyone on earth be better because I was there? Because the truth is, none of us sitting in this chapel this morning knows for sure that we're going to wake up. We did not walk in here today with that guarantee. So if you don't like who you've been up to this moment, make a change and make it today. If you have a broken relationship with someone you love, mend it today. If you can give them love, give it now. If you can play more and work less, decide to commit to do that today. If you can do anything to improve the quality of your life, make that commitment now. Write down everything that you can change in your life. Everything you cannot wait for tomorrow. Every phone call that you need to make. Every apology you need to give. Every hug. Every conversation that you need to have. Decide to stop caring so much about how the other person can react and start living every day as your very, when you're present, living in the moment. So get excited about your life. Love your life while you're still living it. Because our new life starts right now. And I have a feeling that Vail can somehow miraculously be standing where I'm standing. I don't know what he now knows. He would give us all the exact same advice. You all get life and start living it. Thank you for allowing TR and I to be part of your holy connection today. I'd like to close my time with the word prayer, and then I'll turn it back over to you. Okay. So, God, I thank you so much for this community that have come together today and all the relationships that are represented. Thank you for the words that we were able to hear here, and for all the stories that are going to be taking place at the country club later on. And I pray that down the road, when we think we're beyond this and yet something out of the blue happens to remind us of Vail, that in that moment we can stop and remember one of those stories. We can let that moment be whatever that moment is supposed to be, because it hurts today because we meant so much. And I pray that as a result today, we'll take a little closer look at the relationships that matter most to us, because we all still have time. We can all still take a piece of Vail's legacy out of this chapel today. And nothing more will turn to a true celebration of a great man's life. In your name we pray these things. Amen.
It's my honor on behalf of the United States Marine Corps and Free Formation to present you with this military flag. At this time, I have all the grandkids come forward. Talk about the rest of you know about you're also welcome to join us for the committal service, and we're just going to walk out there if we're able to join us. Yeah, you guys are going to read this. All right, go ahead.